by there.
Okay.
Now, right up in the field, right up in here is where we had a garden. Now, this was wooded area in here. There was an old log barn up there. Hard to believe all that stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's a regular city around here.
There's something. You know what that is?
Looks like a barrel.
Barrel hoop?
Barrel hoop?
Yeah. Maybe you can take that if you can't find nothing else.
Sure.
Well, here's an old wash pan or something right here. Got some poison ivy around. Well, the one I sent Teeman was a little bit better than that. That's an old wash pan.
Wow, that is neat. Okay. That is really neat.
It's an old granite.
Uh-huh. That's what it is, a wash pan. Now, old granite is what? The,
Well, it's a, well, nowadays we call it porcelain.
Oh, here's a bunch of stuff right here.
It is, doesn't it? Yeah. Thought this might be a good place.
That looks like a canteen.
That's an old canteen, so I can kind of hold it. This is what you want.
Yeah.
This is a canteen. You remember your daddy talking about the 3 C's?
Uh-huh. So the workers would have used that?
Yeah, those boys in the CCs would carry the water in. Get rid of that crud in here. Here's another, this is a dish pan. Okay. Yeah, that's the bottom part of a dish pan, I think. See, that's bigger than the pan you got. Now, my mother possibly made those biscuits out of this pan. There's a bottle or something over there, I think. Yep. Good one.
Oh, good bottle.
No, it's not.
It's not? Oh, darn it. Yeah, but it's good enough to keep, though. Looks like there's something down right here. See this piece there?
Hey,
is that anything?
Weird. That's stuck.
That looks like a wagon wheel or something.
I don't recognize it. It is some kind of wheel.
Watch, it might be a trap.
No, it's a wheel of some kind.
An old trap. Oh, it's a wheel?
Wheel. It's an old wheelbarrow wheel. I think
Oh.
with that poison ivy there, it shouldn't be.
Here, let me grab it. Oh, that's a nice memento there.
Nice.
That is really nice.
That's nice.
That is really nice.
An old wheelbarrow wheel. What it is.
Okay.
You want the bottle too?
Well, if that's okay.
Well, it's up to you.
Yes, I would.
I'll be glad to carry it on.
I'll keep all this. Rather us get it and keep it than people who don't understand it or know it.
This is a good one here. No telling how old is this thing. There's something. I don't know what that is. Oh, well, we got some pretty good treasures here in here. Okay, let's make our way on over to the well. Oh, I didn't know that was there. I'd have had that myself. I'm bypassing the well.
There's the well right there?
Right here somewhere.
Yeah, straight ahead
Oh, I
there.
see it. Right in front of it.
Straight ahead. Careful there. Is that the right spot?
Well, no, I know where the well is, but I was looking for something else. Here's something I did when I was a kid. Let me see if I can see part of it. See that wheel? That's beauty. It would be rotten now, I guess. There was an old panel, instrument panel, out of an old car when I was a kid. Something urged me to pull the limbs together, and I put that down over it. And it was here for years. It got, the sapling got that big going around that thing. It stayed here for years. Well, eventually it killed it. And now I don't see it at all, but it was somewhere in this area right here. Somewhere in this area right here.
That is a good bottle. Even though it's broken, I think that is neat. That is neat.
You know what kind of bottle that is, I think?
No, sir.
It's a lemon abstract bottle. Imitation lemon bottle, I believe. That's what it is. We used to run up and down this creek, and we had a hole dug out up there someplace. Water came through the culvert up there from over at the pond, and we had a puddle, a little pool there.
There's a bucket in there. There's a wash
tub.
A tub.
What do you call a tub? Come on, see that in there.
Now, would that have been from the family or other people
It came out
afterwards?
of here. Somebody, some scallywag just come down here and throw it in there.
Okay, so that's...
You know, the family. But this had a big rock over it, and
nice wall.
we would pull water up through that hole on this top. Okay, and boy, I've carried a many a bucket of water. See, my mother used to wash out here in the backyard, heat the water in a great big old cast iron kettle, and just carry water, and carry water. See? So, a lot of wells. Now, you remember I was telling you about that? It was hand dug, and it was...
Okay, who did all that?
Who did all of that?
Yeah, who?
Well, some of them pioneer people, you know, see.
So the well was here when you moved in?
It was here when we moved here. Don't know if I have ever seen anybody digging a well and doing it like this, but I had heard of it when I was a kid, you know, people digging well, I believe they called it a bored well. I don't know why they call it bored, but that's what they really meant. It was boarded up with rock or something, see.
Okay, now the well is much deeper than this?
Oh, yeah. See, this goes way on down below the water, see? But, you know, the leaves and everybody throwing stuff in there.
It's probably,
and, you know, it's not as deep as it was one time. But I used to draw water out of there and see frogs sitting on those eaves there, and I'd say, oh, yucky. But I had no choice. We had to use it. And I don't know whether your daddy, Harry, had ever carried any water out of that or not. But anyway,
There's a trailer there now, and this was the house. It just burned down about 2 years ago, and they put a trailer in there. They was living.
Is this where I used to see my grandfather and Uncle Link sitting on a porch all the time?
Well, you probably
stayed with my dad for a while.
I guess that's when you saw him. He took care of his
Dad was
daddy
sick
after he got sick.
Long time, and Link stayed there.
Because that's my only recollection of my grandfather, is him sitting on this porch.
Well, now see what they
Where I was
did
raised. Moved there when I was 2 or 3 months old, and lived there even a year after we was married. Upstairs. Now this-
upstairs.
This
But now
house,
what they had done back then, hon, they took this fancy porch off and just had another plain porch on it.
Oh, I see.
See, all the houses that you see there in Rhoda now, where Joe lives, or that they don't call her Joe, they call her something else, I think. The boy usually gets her.
Yeah, Eddie and I thought it was Roy or Ray or something like that. Yeah.
No, his name is,
Well, yeah, the boy's name is Eddie.
yeah,
Yeah.
the one that was with you. But I
Right.
mean his mother and his stepfather.
Okay.
They live there where the trailer is, and that's where people. And now on the back, if you look on the back side,
He
there
did
was
have 2
all
rooms
the houses
run back
there,
like this
four
with a porch
brothers
on
and
that I didn't put on.
all the timber was cut off in one place, and it was all brought down to Bradford
That took
and
you
sawed and brought out the road.
No, I started in on that house. I didn't know I'd get through it. Just kept piddling
And
around.
the houses, 3 of them
I
are
don't
still,
know
2
how
of them are
long
still
ago
up
it
there. But they
Then
took
after
all
I got
the fancy
through-
part off of them. Now Pete made all this, every bit of it. And then he made the furniture as near like it was as he can, and then I piece quilts and make rugs.
Did you? Oh, look at that.
I think things been moving around. Our lamps fall off the table, and our Bibles fall off. The Christmas tree fell over, and
Oh, that's great.
Can't see him very good. No, when I got through with the house, I just started in on furniture, just piddling with it and taking me out.
and the Victrola.
That works.
The Victrola works.
One of them does. That's the one.
No, I don't
No,
think.
it's-
One of them's got a music box.
Yeah,
that's
That's great.
But we're just two old people playing.
That's wonderful that you have.
Now
That is neat.
See Wilson's here.
each one of the children except Leonard, when we got married,
Like that or not? That old cane bottom chair.
when each of the Pete's dad's house, and the ones that was mine, what I had. So what I have here, you'll want a copy, I'm sure, every one of them,
Okay.
because I went through them today, and now this is what we call the antique room, because this was Pete's grandfather made this bed.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is really nice.
And he made all these boys a bed when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's more papers there than you think there is. But now here's a few old pictures. Here's Uncle Lincoln. You remember him?
Yes,
You talked
I
about
do.
him being on the porch.
Not that young though. In fact,
I
not
guess
at all.
not. He was an old man. But now this is some of the pictures. When my dad died 3 years ago, my sister and I, there were some things that both of us wanted. So what we had to do, we had to draw straws.
Yes.
So she could get one, we just, whatever the other one got, we got. So she got, this is such a funny, she's 12 years younger than I am. She don't remember any of these people. I remember a lot of them.
Yeah.
She got the album with all the pictures in them, the people we know, and I got things that we don't know.
Yeah.
Now this one was one of the cousins. That was the Madison's daughter, and she married a cook. But now this one here is that's Uncle Johnny. This was Lydia we was talking about a while ago. I mean that's your great grandfather's sister, Lydia.
Could I bother you to open the lines here? Maybe I can get a picture of these on the video camera. That it would. I'm not quite sure how to do this because I've never taken pictures this close.
And John, that's your great-grandmother's grandfather's sister, and that she married the Madison.
Okay. Now who's this baby on the other side?
This, I really don't know. See, that's it. This is the far back too. She married John L. Caton. He was a school teacher.
Okay.
And her husband, but I don't know what their name is. I just know it's grandma. See, the other day I took them out and read on the back of them, and then I just wrote it on the front, so I wouldn't have to take them out all the time because I was tearing the book all to pieces.
So Grandma Liddy's sister. Okay. Well, the baby is Clarence.
Clarence Lyons. Now that's one of the. Well, it's too complicated because.
Oh, do you have that little thing there? I'll make a copy of all this for you.
Okay.
Themselves.
Grandma that we talked about, that's her sisters. But I don't know who they are. See, these was just girls at home, and then they got married, and we don't know who they married too far back. That's the reason we don't know so many people. Now, there's one grave out here at Beaver Dam with my grandfather, and you might ought to want to go out there and see that tombstone. It's got a Wells, but we don't know who, and he must have been married twice, and he's got one wife on one side and one on the other. You know, back years ago, they said they did that because they couldn't afford lots of tombstones. I'll tell you who this is. Anderson. Now, he looked older then. That's the one that the letter to when I wrote my dear son Anderson. That's Anderson. But see, that's him in there too. And this was back then. He looked younger as the years come on because they shaved his beard and see, this is Pete's daddy in the middle. And then that Uncle Pete Relaford, you know, that lived up the hill all of our life. We always call him Aunt Bet and Uncle Pete because we just act like his family, but they wasn't any relation to us. They were just neighbors that lived right next door.
Okay.
These are all family, but we don't know who. So, you know, that's what I hate about it, is not being, and I have no idea who they are.
They're quite faded, some of them, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you don't know who these people
I don't
are.
know who they are.
They're somebody.
Yeah. Somebody, you know, now this on the back says who it is, but that's not it, because, see, so they just made a mistake when they sent me that.
Who's this here?
Change the picture sometimes.
That was one of Daddy's friends, but he was Roundtree, but I don't. Everything in here is somebody's in the family.
Okay, so this is you and your...
My dad and mom. That's Flora and Carl and Mildred Violet.
Okay.
It probably does.
Okay, so this person I'm looking at here is who?
That's Joseph.
Joseph Wells. He's the first settler here.
Oh, yeah.
And this is his wife.
Uh-huh.
Her name is...
Rachel, isn't it?
Rachel.
I've got to look back through the papers. I can't remember.
No,
There's too many.
Okay. Okay, this is Isaac. Right,
That's Joseph standing against a tree.
Okay.
And that's Isaac and Dora, your great grandpa and grandma. And then that's my dad and Uncle Lincoln.
Okay. Where are they standing in front?
It's in Louisville. They all went to Louisville. That's where everybody had to go get a job back then. There wasn't anything around here. So everybody went to Louisville and got a job. One would go and get a job, and then they would bring another or some more.
This here is a picture of what?
That's a whole doggone family. That's in-laws and outlaws and...
Do you know where this was taken?
Yeah, out there, right there, road at the church, right there where you know the little church right there? Well, that's there. See those big trees, the pine trees that are there?
Uh-huh.
They've died, and the last one was just cut down. Pete's daddy set them out when it was, you know, a little bitty.
Okay, who are some of these people? Do you...
Well, there's Isaac and Dora, and there's Pete's mother and dad. There's John and Lydia. And,
where are they?
Well, see, I only got 2 hands, boy. This is Dora and Isaac here.
Okay, Dora and Isaac.
And here's Lydia.
Okay.
And here's Joseph Jackson.
Okay.
And this is Velma. That's one of Anderson's daughters.
Okay.
And this is Grandpa Anderson.
All right.
And this is Mosey and Paradine. That's their daughter. You know, I told Lydia and now see, there may be over on that other side some of them that I don't recognize. And there was 1 or 2 in there that Pete didn't recognize. That was given to us by somebody that had it at the family that knew I kept stuff like this.
I'm glad they gave it to you. Okay, this we think is another picture of Joseph Wells. It appears a lot like the other one. In fact, let me go up to the other one now. See the similarity.
See, it's just like Anderson and them. They changed so. Anderson doesn't look like. I'll show you the last picture we have of him. That's the 2 brothers and their wives up there. The oldest one in the family, Anderson, and Joseph, the youngest one.
Right up there, okay.
And I want you, if you've got time and you can, to copy all of those, because when you go home and read them, you'll get a connection, because this afternoon, see, I've never just sat down and took them and just thoroughly read them through and through like I should. I'll skip to them and read this one time and the next one. But I found 2 of Grandpa's brothers. Now, this is his brothers I'm talking about. Your great-great-grandfather, 2 of his brothers mentioned in deeds. One of them was James, and one of them was, what was the other one, Pete? He's in another room, I guess. I'll think of it in a few minutes. Saul and James. And one of the deeds is made to Saul and somebody. And see, we don't know how many brothers and sisters there was in that bunch. See, we don't have anybody to tell us. So, but we do know there were several of them.
There's no birth records?
No, see, at that time they didn't keep any birth records here. It would be in Warren County, but, well, that made me think. In one of these papers, it'll have a place, I'll show you when we get in there, that tells you the pages in the book in Bowling Green, that your record book, that you can find some of this stuff.
Okay, good, good.
Even if there's like, well, I don't know, funerals, if there's anything written about who attended a funeral, sometimes.
No, see, at that time we didn't even have a newspaper here.
So
There's nothing to go back. See, I belong to the Historical Society. I was the first president, but see, people write me from Illinois and California and every place wanting to know. And this was what, I had one woman get so nasty that I was nasty. I just threw her letter in nobody's paper basket. She wrote to me and said, I'd like to find my ancestors. They was buried someplace in Edmonton County now. All these little cemeteries, and see, we cataloged them 2 years ago, and there you have no idea how many little cemeteries and little family cemeteries. And cemeteries that people knows anything about till you go to do something like that. And she said, they was buried someplace in Edmonton County, and give me their name. My heavenly days. I didn't have anything to go on. There was no way I knew. She's only Catholic Church in Edmonton County. So most of the Catholics live in that area. Baptists, you know, and then it's a little odd, you know, they settled in different, in their family. So I said if she would just say our family was Catholic, that'd make it easier, because I'd go to the Sunfish community and start looking in the cemeteries down there, because they don't scatter themselves out there.
Okay, well, let me set up the copier.
Supposed to get, for something, have fishing, because that's the closest. See, Rock Hill was the closest railroad there was in, and it was there. But see, I don't know who's discharged. Because see, there was Joseph had his was from a land grant, and then there was Anderson was a Civil War veteran, and you don't know who it was.
Too bad.
You'll have lots of fun when you get home reading all this.
Oh, this is going to be great.
Yeah, you'll have
I think I've lost a husband for a while.
Yeah, probably, because let me tell you, it is just an addiction.
It is.
Starting on this. Now, see, people can give you 2 cents for it, but I've been over in these cemeteries, crawling out on my hands and knees and pushing them, and then the picture of the mark on, and it would give you 2 cents. You would think that Luther lives, and did you know where Luther lived? Did the boy tell you yesterday? There's 3 big houses on the right side of the road as you go out the road in the Wells Valley.
Okay.
Well, they didn't get the land from that was Luther, big brother, the one that wanted all the land back in there, didn't get it. And I happen to think of something else also too. You know, the old home place blew away in the storm. The Joseph's home that he'd have to be steady to take care of. And it blew away in a storm when we come here. I come here when I was 7 years old, and that was the first thing I can really remember is that terrible storm that had to do to kill the woman and the newborn baby and the woman that was staying with her, and that was, and so one of my friends, that was her uncle that was living in the house when it blew away. She might possibly have a picture of the old place. I don't know. But I thought I'd call her and see if she does. You all leave me your address and name and everything, and so if I find out anything, if I can get a hold of the picture right.
That'd be wonderful.
There is where the house is at. They have plowed the fields, you know, to tend it. And the March flowers is the field of them. And I said, I want to go there and get some bulbs to bring here so I can say I've got the original bulbs from the old home place.
Homestead, that's right. That would be fun.
Now, see, that's just, they just got
No, I meant Joseph.
Oh,
Or
that,
James and
I have no idea.
Mary Alice.
Mary Alice. What about Isaac and his wife?
Well, Isaac and his wife, that's what I said, they didn't live too far apart. And then too, my Dory's sister married a cousin. So I met her through that way, I don't know. Because my cousin Beulah, that I got some of my pictures from not long ago, she said that of the Wellses that I never knew, because he's a lot younger, he's just 50 years old, and he didn't remember all of them. And so I did, but I hated to just be a pig and take too many, so I really wanted to tell you the truth, but I didn't. And he's got, I know he had some good pictures up there. See, Aunt Hetty and Uncle Lincoln, all them was the same age, Daddy's sister and all them. See, Daddy was, his mother was one of the oldest, next to the oldest, well, she was the oldest child. And that made her children the same age of the see, Lincoln and Mom and all them was Daddy's uncles, but they were the same age, so they just played together like kids, and they just grew up like brothers. And they never really knew they was not brothers and sisters.
Right.
Now you see, Grandpa Isaac too. There's some that you not Dee and Lizzie. See that Grandpa Isaac's children. Yeah. Lizzie and Dee. And Aunt Lizzie was a man, she was scared to kill me. Well, but all of them, I just didn't. He stopped at my house. I probably was telling him, he said something like that. So I told him, you never watermelon lamb. Sit down, I was talking to him, talking over Jim. Uncle Lincoln slipped down and sliced one of the watermelons and went back to the cemetery and then got out in the road and come down the road with this watermelon down his arms and said, well, Jim, I didn't know he's down here selling watermelons. I come down here for steal watermelons. Well, I'm selling these, but wait. Uncle Lincoln cut over Jim's watermelon and fed it to him.
Oh, this is a letter that's going to be very hard to read.
Oh, that's the letter from Grandpa.
On the back, too. Boy, tough.
It's going to be awful dim.
We'll see.
They always guides and solicitors up at Mammoth Cave. And you know, it takes a humor, you know, to
do all that.
And of course, they gifted with that anyway. And so that they all, in their later years, that's what they wound up doing.
Is this being guided?
And Jimmy Scott, my sister's wife and his daughter, after he went out west, he got sick and was dying. Well, Grandma always said, Uncle Johnny went out to Texas to live, you know, and then getting his church records. We never knew why they were. Well, when we got those church records, she got pregnant, and she wasn't married, so they put her out of church. But that was such an embarrassment back then. And such
Well, yeah, today it's...
Well, it's just like I told someone, everybody can say.
Yeah, and different times.
They're out of church. They were something else. They danced. They loved to dance. And they go to a dance. I said, these girls come to church and make their acknowledgement. They'd be out of church, you know, we're just teasing, you know. And it kind of rubbed me the wrong time. They put him out of church. Back to church, and that's it. Now that's awful dirty, and I think it's important, but it's so dirty, I have to mess with it a lot.
You want to save this one for I've got legal paper, the legal size paper that I can use, and I'll save the larger ones for that.
Well, now I've got, on that paper I've got, I guess that's what it needs for it, and then, when we got this paper from my grandmother, there was one that's on blue paper.
Okay, and those were Joseph's?
They were all his. See, this old cheese ring, that's 18 what? 39 or 89, no, it wouldn't be 89 now.
No.
That's way before, that'd be 39, I guess.
They were.
Well, let's see, here it is. 18 is what it is.
Butler, Bear Creek. Is his name Bear Creek something?
Bear Creek's over across the river.
Well, now, so he was here that. When do you think he was here?
I don't have any idea.
I mean, when is the earliest record that you have from him, and what is the date?
On one of these papers.
Okay.
The earliest date that you can find on any of them. See, here's on the deeds to Joseph Wells. 1861, this one is. And see, this is the deed that
Yeah.
well, I'll tell you what, my sad story about that. See, Pete's daddy was the youngest boy. Grandpa Anderson was the oldest one. He got it. Grandpa Anderson got it. But when he died, his wife gave it to Pete's daddy because he was the baby. So Pete's daddy had it. When Pete's daddy died, Pete's mother didn't think about keeping it with one of her kids. She took it back and gave it to Mary. That's Anderson's daughter. But when Grandma died then, Daddy got it. That walking cane, if you had a knob on the top and then it was twisted. And went back to Pete, because Pete, well, my daddy gave it to 9 months before he died. And she, the banjo. How much in the man he says, because I didn't want to give that glass walking cane up. Because see, that you, the glass walking cane, he had said, give her the walking cane if she wants it, James wants the banjo. I said, I'll give you the walking cane then, if you let James have the banjo. She didn't want to do it. And her husband said, well, Jimmy, she's giving you this good deal, so that's a better deal than she's getting. Because James, the banjo's still sitting in there. And I didn't want the banjo myself, and but I didn't want the walking cane, and it had been hanging in my bedroom and then that bedroom then for about a year or so. And then I never have seen it. I got a feeling she broke it.
Oh dear.
I got a feeling, you know, I had some of this flow blue so we could keep them separate from the other dishes. I guess she had lung cancer, but we thought at that time they said they thought she had TB because that's been this girl. We didn't have that.
You don't know.
And so she decided she wanted that plate, so she just took it out of the house down at Nettie's and took it home with her and had it wrapped up in one of her something that she had down there with her. I don't know, the dress or what. When she got out of the car, she just thought that was it, and just jerked it out and just broke it all over the sidewalk right in front of her house.
Well, that's a pretty piece of the blue.
Yeah. Oh, I got lots of dishes. You come in here and I'll show you. I've got lots of the family dishes. See, the dishes come from Pete's mother's side, on Pete's dad's side, and then now see the old serve stands, they were Pete's mother's, and these were on my side of the family.
This bowl is really pretty.
Yeah, now that was mother's sister. That was my aunt, Mama's sister. This was the ring she left me when she died.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
And this was Lydia Anderson's wife. Now see, Grandma still had some of her dishes when she died. Well, Daddy and Aunt Hetty traded them, so Jimmy and I had to trade them with us, so we're not getting too many pieces. But that was to a water set, you know, there was a pitcher and glasses. Well, now we know he had 2 or 3 glasses, but somebody else talked him out of them. You know, people go into old people when they get old. And I wish I had something to remember our so-and-so, get talked out of stuff. I'm trying to think of some of the other pieces. This was piece of mine. And these was Grandmary's. Now this.
Well, those are pretty. It's a little creamer and sugar. That's nice.
Now this was Liddy. That was Anderson and Liddy. That was hers. That was a cheese dish.
A cheese dish? That's really something, that pretty
It's
nice.
heavy.
Is it?
Lord, it's heavy. Feels just the lid.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Now, I thought Jimmy would sure want that. What way we did with Daddy's thing, as quick as Daddy died, we was afraid somebody would go in the house because he had lots of them the time we divided. And we were afraid somebody would go in the house, so we just took all the dishes and packed them up and brought them out here. And then when Jimmy and them come back to when we settled the estate, we just took it all out on the picnic table, opened it all up, set it all
And
out
took
there,
turns
and she
picking.
would take something, I would take something, she'd take it until we done. But that's the way we sell it, and you know.
That's
it was-
great.
Yeah.
It goes quick and
And that way, if anybody didn't get, the first one had the best chance. But then that you got the first choice, but then after that, if you didn't pick what you wanted, you know, that was just you.
yeah, right.
If there was one thing, and I really kind of wanted it, but I could see Jimmy's point. It was my mother's wedding present, and it was a piece of cut glass. It was on a little stem, and it was up so high. And my dad and mother separated and divorced when I was real little, but then they remarried. And so Mama, somebody had got the piece of cut glass and kept it. And then they sent it down to her. And Jimmy come down the road carrying that in her hand one day, just slinging around in me. And that's the reason she wanted it. Well, I could see her point because, you know, she could remember that one real well.
Yeah, sure, she had a memory attached to it.
But it's
And that's a pretty piece. Does that belong to you?
No, now I bought that.
You got that. And you have another one there.
Yeah, now I got another one in the other room too. This one, I bought that one, but I really stole it. I bought it at the yard sale.
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not. I went up there.
You're kidding.
And when I went up there and I said to this old, we went to this, well, it was out close to where Jimmy lives, and they had these pieces out. And
Package just pulled up. Well, that's for me. Okay. Thank you. One more night. This time it's gonna be hot. I'm walking back into our lives, and I got another man. That's what I'm really afraid to tell.